What's going on, YouTube? My name's Jed Taylor. This is my papa Jesse.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk to you about how to be a good ally. The reason why I invited her to do this video with me is because when I came out, she made it the most comfortable as possible and made my experience coming out just awesome. When first coming out, all of the changes are very uncomfortable and awkward for all parties involved, especially for the trans person. I remember when I first came out, no one had switched pronouns immediately, and I didn't really want anyone to because the change was going to be weird for me. So I remember one day we were sitting in our kitchen and Jessie was talking about me and referred to me as she, and then she had stopped and was like, no, I can't do that anymore. I have to start referring to you as he. And I was like, no, that's okay. And she was like, no, it's not. It's not okay. And that took that uncomfortable conversation of asking someone to use the pronouns that I wanted, which I really appreciated because I'm very shy and awkward, and it's not really my thing to be like, hey, could you guys do this or could you guys do that? So for her to take that upon herself to do that was very meaningful for me.
And like, what was easier about that is probably for like a week or so after you had initially told us, and then until that moment, it was like each time that we'd either talk about you or like, you know, like your name would get brought up or something, it just like, even in front of you, it just like, you could see it in your face, and it wasn't right. It
was like cringing.
Yeah, and it just like made the situation like just feel that much more, I don't know, it was scary.
Yeah.
And so, like, I first switched in text messages because it was easier. So like anytime that I was talking about him, I would like switch it because it's literally just one letter. You either delete it, you know,
yeah,
or
it's easier to look at it and like change what you're about to say.
Yeah, exactly. And so like immediately I switched, and it was kind of easier. And I was already switching it in the text messages, but like, so I guess at that moment I was just like, I said it and it immediately just felt like
wrong.
Yeah, it just like did not feel right. And then I was like, all right, we need to do this switch because like, yeah, like you said, like you were scared to ask, and like it wasn't even that you needed to ask. Like you shouldn't have, you know, like,
and that's like a thing. Like you should just kind of take it upon yourself to know that you should switch those pronouns, because
you're thinking about enough already.
Yeah.
Like you're already scared if you're gonna lose that person or not. So like them doing that is just like showing like one more little step about how they support you and how they're like encouraging you.
Yeah.
And so, and by doing that, like immediately, as soon as one person started doing it, you get the ball rolling.
Yeah, it's a
so it was
chain
way
reaction.
easier for like everybody that's in this house or in this group or in, you know, in like just in your close encounters to be using the right pronoun. And you know,
because if you hear, you know, if she's saying he and someone else is saying she, they're gonna feel awkward and uncomfortable. Like, all right, yeah, that's probably not right. I probably shouldn't be doing that, and then they're gonna switch.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's 100% success rate. Here's how you switch pronouns without being awkward and uncomfortable for each party. So anytime someone would come over, whether somebody was from like your past or somebody who you know knew you before or just anybody, okay, when they would come over here and they would use like the wrong name and then the wrong pronoun, all I do is I overuse it to the point where it's not like annoying or you can't really tell that I'm doing it because I never make it really obvious, because you don't want to make it obvious. That's the point of this, is you don't want to make, whenever somebody's like, if somebody misgendered you and somebody goes, no, it's like, it's he, you know, it just,
that's gonna make me feel awkward.
Yeah.
It's gonna make them feel awkward, and then
it's gonna make them feel like what
they
did was
freeze
wrong,
up.
you know,
And
what they did wasn't necessarily wrong. It was just, you know, it was something they're not used to. Yeah, and it was, you know, the first one's always gonna be weird. It's okay. It's gonna be weird as the person that, you know, like is switching them, and it's also gonna be weird for
hearing it and saying it. It's weird. It's like you can't avoid the weirdness in the very beginning. Change is awkward and uncomfortable for everyone. So don't expect me to just right off the bat be comfortable with it, and then I'm not expecting you right off the bat to be comfortable with it, because it's a process. It's a learning process.
Yeah. So like if somebody misgenders him, I just like the next time that it's my turn to speak, or you know, I'll like tell a story, or I'll somehow like talk about you. So I'll be like, oh yeah, well me and him, we were doing, you know, this, and we went here, and then like if like I'd usually use like the right pronoun a couple of times, but like sometimes even if like I notice that they're not really getting it, like like with one specific thing that I'm thinking of, like they just weren't really getting it at first, so then I like paused and I said, he said, he's, and then I would like pause, and I was trying to like be like, oh, like I forgot
it's like
what he
you're emphasizing on it, but not like going,
Yeah.
and he said.
I wasn't like being annoyed, and then I would just continue talking, And the next time that she spoke, she changed her pronoun. And it was just because, like, once you hear somebody do it enough times, it's not going to feel awkward. So your job as an ally is to do that for your friend or family member or son or, you know, like, you might be but you need to do that, because if you don't do that, like,
you're going to make it think that it's, like, all these other people are going to think it's okay to misgender me as well, or anyone else.
And it's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And it's, you know, and it's scary, and you don't want to make him feel already more isolated than he already feels, or, you know, anybody else. But, cause that's
and the same goes for the name, too. Like, you know, people that know me, like, prior to transitioning, they're used to calling me my birth name. So, and, like, she usually doesn't call me Jet. She usually calls me son, kiddo, or any of that. But when she notices that, like, someone's using the wrong name, she'll be like, yeah, me and Jet this, me and Jet that, Jet, and they get the point.
Just makes it a little bit easier. But, and especially, like, here's one thing that I think that was, like, probably the hardest. And it's especially hardest because of the way that I met you.
Yeah.
And so, when you're talking about an instance that, or, like, a story that happened pre, like, name change, pre-pronoun change, just because, like,
that was their name or their pronoun that they preferred then,
it doesn't mean that that's still okay to use it.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a group of people that either don't know him yet, like, it's misgendering them. Even though you're not trying to, even if you're just retelling a story, but you just have to remember to retell that story using the correct pronoun, using the correct name, if you can, or just, like, altering the story so that you don't have to make him feel uncomfortable.
So, like, even though you knew me as that person then, or that pronoun then, you still need to refer to me as who I am now. Because, one, if someone doesn't know, you're putting them at risk. Like, some serious safety risks. Like, you don't want to put your friend or loved one at risk. And two, this is who I was my whole life. Took me a long time to realize it. So, for, like, respect and to show, like, you know, support, you would want to refer to me as Jet and he at all times. But also, like, there's always that weird, awkward transition of, like, the name. Like, you don't really know what name you're going to use, or if you pick a name, like, that's, like, really the biggest, for me at least, was the most awkward and uncomfortable thing for me. Like, introducing myself as my new name was, sometimes I just wouldn't do it. It was like, that's, like, so easy for someone to be like, hi, my name is blah, 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 but for me that was, like, one of the biggest struggles. So, Jessie would take it upon herself to introduce, you know, me, and say, hey, this is Jet, so that way I didn't have to say it.
Or knock out both of them and say his name is Jet. So therefore you're knocking out the pronoun and the name all in one.
So that way they just get it.
And you have to, like, ask.
Yeah. Because, like, over the weekend, my best friend Dempsey was just picking out his new name, and he wanted to try the name Jake. So we were going around and I introduced him, and you could tell that he was struggling. Like, he didn't really know what to say, because he wanted to say Jake, but he's used to just saying Dempsey. So then I was like, yeah, this is my best friend Jake. And you could tell, like, on his face, he's like, thank you.
Yeah, he felt so much better.
Felt, like, relieved that he didn't have to do that.
So anytime that you can, like, help out your friend, or just, like, help out your loved one, or, you know, and just, like, make the, I guess, like, the situation just feel, like, that much more comfortable. Like, you should take it upon yourself to do it, because, like, they might not ask, or, like, you know, even, like, tell you that that's what they want, but, like,
you could see it in my face. Like, I didn't have to say anything. Like, I'm a very awkward person. I don't like to do that. So, and I'm sure, like, a lot of people are like that too. So just, like, it's all about making them as most comfortable as possible. Because they're going through a lot. They're thinking a lot, and it's a lot to take in for them. So, like, the least that you could do is make it easier for them. And I guess not just that. So, like, say you run into someone who is deliberately being rude and mean and disrespectful. For example, my mama, Ange, she was the one that would straight up be like, listen, that's not okay to do, and would either take them aside or sometimes just straight up right then and there be like, hey, like, you're being disrespectful, you need to knock it off. Like, just because, like, it's awkward and uncomfortable for them, if someone's deliberately being mean, you need to tell them that's not okay. Regardless if they're, like, I mean, preferably probably take them aside and do it, but if they're, like, in the moment, like, you have to right then and there, you probably should. Because it's not okay for someone to be doing that on purpose.
And it should start within the community. I mean, like we're part of the LGBT community, and so I may identify as one thing and he may identify as another, but like we have a joint like respect, and we should. And so like even people who are in that LGBT community, like you shouldn't be using like offensive language like towards like another part of the community. Like there are certain like things that you should not say, like as like a lesbian, as like a gay man, as like a bisexual person. Like you shouldn't say like
the T word. Don't use it.
Don't use it.
That's not okay. Just like me not identifying as a gay person, I wouldn't think it's okay to use the F word. That's not okay. Just because I have a friend that's gay, like that's still not okay. Just like it's not okay to use the T word. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say it.
Like it hurts our entire cause, and it hurts everything about our community and what we stand for.
We're all in this together. Don't let anyone feel isolated or singled out.
No, and you're a part of this group. Like it especially hurts me when like I see people that are in the LGBT community using offensive language. I do not understand that at all, and like that is not being a good ally. Like, and even within the community, you have to be an ally. Like you have to be an ally to like each of the other letters in that community as well. Even if you don't like necessarily like understand, it's not really just to understand. You just have to respect it, and like you have to try to understand and try to educate yourself and try to like.
And it's okay to be uneducated, because when I came out, Jesse didn't really know that too much about the transgender community or anything like that. But her and Ange, guess what they did? Took it upon themselves to go learn and educate themselves, which was also awesome. Like, because I didn't know too much about it either when I came out, so it was a learning process for all of us. So I didn't have to like learn it first and then explain it to them. They did it on their own. And as an ally, you should take it upon yourself to go educate yourself if you don't know anything, because it's okay to be ignorant, but it's not okay to choose to stay ignorant.
Exactly. And he had told me this video. I'm like, all right, well, like, you know, what do I do? Or what, you know, what should... And you told me, like, what video that you watched, and I watched what video you watched, and then, like, you take it upon yourself. Like, there's awesome, like, resources out there that you can, like, educate yourself. Transactive. There's one. But, like...
It's the one that helped me figure things out.
And there's a lot of other, like, tools that you can take even as, like, somebody who is not transgender. Like, you can learn. And that's the biggest thing, is because, like, the more that you learn, the more comfortable you are going to be with the situation, the easier it's going to be to help others become comfortable with the situation. Like,
gonna make the change easier.
Yeah. And each small change, like, it adds up, and it just, like, helps the community in general.
And these small changes mean the world to us. Like, the absolute world to us. So, what did we learn here today? Let's see. Number 1, tell them you support them, tell them you love them.
Hug them.
Yes, hug them. Just give me the love. I need the love at that very time. Like, that moment, like, I'm gonna need that. Like, when I came out to her, I cried, and she immediately just hugged me, and it made me feel like I was gonna be okay. But it's not enough just to say it. You have to actually show action. So take the action and take it upon yourself to educate yourself, to, you know, look up and find all these resources to make it easier for them. Make the switch with the pronouns. Make the switch with the name. Like, maybe introduce them for them. If somebody is misgendering them, overuse the right pronoun.
But wait until they're comfortable with it, because, like...
It's always a personal, it's like a personal, you know, preference. So, like, make sure you're communicating with them to see what's good for them, but...
Or how do they want to be introduced, or, you know...
Be like, hey, would you like me to do this for you, or... You know, like, would you be comfortable if I did this? Like, make sure it's okay with them, because sometimes some people really aren't ready to use their new name or to use the new pronouns, and until they're comfortable with it, like, don't do it, because you don't want to make them uncomfortable. So
but it's okay to be the one to be, like, get this ball rolling in it.
Take initiative.
Yeah, like, make them feel as comfortable as possible. Make them feel supported. So even if it's just you two, even in the beginning, if it's just when the two of you hang out, like, outside of a group, like, it's okay to, like, try that out, because, like, you never heard your, like, male pronouns to you. So, like, when we actually started using male pronouns, and even in just, like, smaller settings at first, and, like, when it was just you and I, like, we would use them. And, like, you have to start, and, like, it's like a comfortability thing. Like, each time, like, I said it, like, you got happier, and, like, you, like, were like, yeah, this is, like, what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is, like, it's what I needed to hear, you know?
Yeah, like, they shouldn't have to ask you to change pronouns. They shouldn't have to ask you to change your name. You should just respect them enough to do that, because it is awkward and uncomfortable for us to have to ask. That's how to be a good ally. There's actually a lot of different things you can do, but these were very significant things for me for when I came out. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So this is me and my papa, my best friend in the whole wide world.
I love you.
Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you guys another day, another time. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.